All right, guys, Fargo Day 5 completed, junior and 16U boys freestyle. Let's talk about the 5 things we really want to talk about out of this. First one for me, man, 16U, the Southeast had themselves a weekend. Georgia finishes in 7th with 2 champions and a runner-up. Tennessee has a champion and a runner-up at 16. No.
Yeah,
yep,
that's right.
Norman, yep. Florida had themselves a champion at 16U. I think they finished like in 12th, somewhere in that range. 3 teams in the top 15, 2 in the top 10. For the Southeast, man, I think that's huge.
Yeah. And Georgia finished just ahead of Tennessee, but your OW came from the state of Florida, Michael Mocco.
That's a full-grown man at 16. I don't care what nobody tells me. That, the way in the finals, he picks said opponent up and readjusts his lock in the air. Insanity to watch. And the fact he's 16U, that's unfair.
So shout out to all the All-Americans.
Obviously, yeah.
We're gonna probably not be able to mention all of them. I've got my phone with me, but you know, there's just no way to get to all of them. We did a lot of interviews, or you did a lot of interviews with them. And we'll show some highlights and that sort of thing. But all of you deserve a tip of the cap.
Absolutely.
I want to throw out a couple names that didn't make the podium. Colin Mullins, juniors for Georgia, wrestled a great tournament.
He had a great run, man. Man, I feel for that kid because he got himself to the round of 16, lost a close one in the round of 16. Man, he wrestled one hell of a tournament. You're right. Yeah, I feel bad for that kid. I want him to get it. I want him to get it in Greco. He wrestled incredible though. Quick shout out.
Chase Walker from Tennessee wrestled really well. Ran into Jojo Uhorchuk, another Tennessee guy, in the quarters, I think?
Yep, quarters, yeah, because they dropped the blood round then, yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's tough, you know, to meet your teammate there. Uhorchuk ends up 3rd.
Yeah.
You know, my Fat and Scrappy family, this tall drink of water here is Joseph Uhorchuk, just finished up in 3rd. Joe, holler at me for a second about what was the prep like, you know, even throughout the season, wrestling at Signal Mountain, now you come here to Fargo, you had a good cycle. How was the training like coming into Fargo this week?
Right, yes sir. So I train at MTC, so when I'm not at Signal practice with my brother Ethan, I'll be at MTC down with John Stewart, Cooper Hilton. You know, we got a bunch of good guys in there. We got Sean and Cody Russell. They've really, this is my first year of full freestyle. They've really put me through a good training cycle, taught me all the positions, all I need to know about freestyle, just rapidly in 2 months. They've really got me prepared for this tournament. So we have one big training camp, not the week before Fargo, and that was tough. But other than that, it's just a bunch of practices and learning all the positions.
So you said your first real year of freestyle, and then coming to your first real year of freestyle, coming out in 3rd place, that must feel real special. So kind of talk about that for a second.
Yes, sir. So it feels nice. It feels good. Obviously, folk style and freestyle, they're different, but it's still wrestling, so I knew I had it in me. I got to the semis and I didn't do what I wanted to, so going into the 3rd or 4th match, even though I won, it feels great to be an All-American. It's gonna feel even better holding that stop sign, but still a little disappointed that I didn't get first. Mad at myself, you know, a couple adjustments that I need to make, need to get to that next level, but all around it feels pretty good to be an All-American.
Absolutely. Congrats, man.
What else stood out to you?
So one thing I want to talk about that I think is really interesting is clubs in each state. In Tennessee, a lot of their places came out of Boom Ring.
Scrappy family, I'm here with Hudson Chittum, All-American this weekend at Fargo. Hudson, take a second to talk about what was the prep like and the training going into this weekend.
The prep was good. You know, we worked really hard for, I'd say, a month straight, and then kind of toned it in, tuned everything in about a week out, you know, shortened practices, make sure I was feeling up to speed, feeling great before competition, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, obviously not the result you wanted, not as high up on the podium as you probably would like coming into the weekend, but an All-American performance, still one hell of an accolade. Kind of talk about how it feels now that you kind of look back and say at least, well, I'm an All-American. It's got to feel at least somewhat special.
Yeah. it feels good. You know, yeah, as you said, it's not the performance I wanted, not what I wanted to come here for. But still feels good being on the podium for the first year, being here, and then, you know, getting fourth. It's not great, but I still wrestle good, and now we know what I need to fix.
Yeah, and now you got Greco, too.
Yes, sir.
All right, congrats, man.
Slash Minion RTC Alabama. Talk about Ironclad having their presence felt. Minion RTC and John Stewart, quick shout out to him. Out of Georgia, Level Up and Storm and Roundtree dominated kind of podium. I really like to see the healthy club scene in each of these states. And for Florida, it was Lake Highland Prep. It was Lake Highland Prep plus Mocco.
Take it up, Tatum. Circle work. Take your knees,
Gentlemen, work. When you talk about most of
as far as making the podium.
Yeah, as far as making the podium. Obviously, lots of hitters from Florida that outside of those clubs. But Lake Highland Prep, once again, as a team, showed out.
Reach out, focus. Finish, there you go. CJ, all you got. Circle, figure it out from there. 10 seconds, CJ. Whatever. Get it. Go, whatever. Get it.
I mean, so shout out to CJ Torres,
Yep.
Yandro Soto,
Zeno Moore.
and who was the last one?
Yandro Soto?
No, I already said Yandro Soto. Junior, maybe a junior freestyle. CJ Torres? I already said CJ.
Yeah, you said. You can tell this is live, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And Caleb Rodriguez. Ethan Rivera, yeah. So, really, really good. Number 3, I guess, as we're talking, is shout out JJ Peace, South Carolina. First time in Fargo and makes the podium.
Yeah, has
Junior
one
120, runs into Leo DeLuca, who was the OW for juniors, and then fights his way back through to make the podium.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
And I want to make a specific shout out to a Georgia boy. I guess call this number 4. This kid at Elite 8, on the soul of my mother, walks up to me, dead face, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't joking, and said, if there's 2 periods, Lucas, how do I choose top? Goes from Fargo finals, runs into Elijah Diaz-Mahalis, who's a hitter and is in that match and could have won that match. Tip of the cap comes to Team Fat and Scrappy member Ryder Wilder. I don't care that he's from Georgia. I don't care that he's Team Fat and Scrappy. I don't care that or even worst of all, I don't care that he's Camden County. That kid deserves a nod. I don't care what nobody tells me. He had one heck of a performance this weekend. Tip of the cap from me.
State of Alabama, with everybody we just mentioned, there was only one junior finalist, and that came from the state of Alabama. Yanik Simon at 100 pounds. He ran into a kid that he had lost to at duels, still went out there, wrestled a good match, but, you know, obviously came up short, took second. Shout out to him, tip of the cap to him.
Absolutely.
John Stewart, I think, was a cadet.
Yep, cadet.
16U.
All right, Fat and Scrappy family, here with John Stewart. Just finished up in 4th here for Team Alabama by way of Minion RTC. So real quick, talk about what was the prep like going in the weekend? How was the training cycle kind of coming into Fargo?
It was a lot of tough hours, man. Like, training with Minion really got me prepped for this. Like, I've only been wrestling freestyle for like 2 months, and getting with Sean and Cody Russell really helped me prepare for this tournament, and it put me in a good place. Got All-American status.
I was going to say, so representing the state of Alabama, it must feel pretty good to nab an All-American for the Dixie State and as high as you did. So how's that feel?
It feels really good. I mean, there's so many hours put into this, and I mean,
Alabama is very supportive, even though I'm not in their training cycle. I'm with Minion, but it feels great to be an All-American.
Awesome, man. Congrats.
All-American from the state of Alabama.
Yep.
And Savoy New makes the podium for the state of North Carolina.
Absolutely.
That was fantastic.
And he wrestled like a dog all weekend. Shout out to Savoy New.
Yep.
He hit a couple of tough matches and just gritted them out. 5'4", I think, in his
Yeah,
Could be
it was
mistaken if I
super
am.
close.
It was a 1-point match. He gutted it out, and just a gutsy performance. And I hate to be a Georgia guy, but I'm going to here because this guy made me look like $1 million. You want to talk about a gutsy performance? Logan Paradice's hips right now are like this. His hips are unaligned right now. No, again, like, so that's why he's wearing a whole bunch of KT tape around his hip. Comes out as a first-year junior and makes the podium and got a great run to the semifinals. Hit a couple tough ones in a row, but man, you want to talk about a gutsy performance? All right, I'm here with Logan Paradice out of Moultrie, Georgia, Storm Wrestling Center. You know the use. Just finished up, All-American, got his little stops on with him. Logan, can I talk about the weekend? Talk about the prep that went into it and all that.
Yeah, just a lot of prep, a lot of kind of taking it how it is. First year in junior division, kind of ready for those bigger guys, those older guys who've been in this longer, just kind of prepping for all that. Kind of like messed up my hip a little bit before this, dislocated it, and my hips are kind of like this right now, so wrestling on a bad hip. But besides that, my prep is a lot of camps, just training with my coach, Coach Gerald, with Storm Wrestling Center, and just a lot of commitment. Love the sport of wrestling.
So now look, you know, for those who didn't watch, Logan went on one hell of a run, made me look like a genius picking him, but gets to the sems, you drop a couple. I mean, look, obviously not what you want out of the weekend. Talk about being an All-American. Now that you can kind of look back, how's that feel?
Looking back, of course it feels great, looks good on the resume, first year junior, but of course, like you said, it's not what I wanted. Plan to come back next year, plan to win it. It feels good. Looking back, happy on the weekend, happy with the AA, and just ready for more.
Awesome, man. Congrats. Boy, as injured as he is, and you know, Paradice is a really mentally tough kid, and he's stoic, but he's goofy. He's never going to tell you how beat up he is. If you talk to Gerald, the parents, they'll tell you just how beat up he is. So you want to talk about a gutsy performance, shout out to him on that. He wrestled like an animal.
All right, so last question would be, how do, if you didn't make the podium in freestyle, do you make that switch, come back and make it
so that's what's funny is for me, I didn't make the podium in freestyle, and I had a day or two to get myself back because Greco was my better style, and I ended up making it to the blood rounds. Quick shout out to Manville and John Martin Best who knocked me out. But for me, what it was all about was it's a new tournament. It really, this is a whole new bracket. Seeding, they don't even count the freestyle results into seeding. It's a brand new event, and you got to be ready to answer the bell from the word go, because you can redeem yourself. If you didn't make the podium, that doesn't mean you can't win a national title in Greco-Roman. So that's the big one for me.
You know, we brought up Greco, and Blue Stiffler won really close in the quarters.
Use his legal name. Blueberry Stiffler. Use his legal name. Just found out that's his legal name today.
Is that right?
Yes, his mom told me. That's his legal name. Blueberry Stiffler. All right, Fat and Scrappy family. I'm here with Blue Stiffler, and I'm going to say a sentence, Blue, and I want you to tell me how it feels. Fargo national champion Blue Stiffler. How does that feel?
It feels pretty good, especially with the work I put in for it.
Yeah, so talk about that for a second. What was the preparation like kind of coming into the weekend and to get to the dome in the way you did and be at your peak?
It was basically just Sammy getting on to me about getting to what I do best, underhooks, staying in my position, just working on that, staying in that mindset.
So last thing I want to ask, how was that feeling? Talk about getting on the big stage, in the spotlight, the whole arena there. That must have felt pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely probably the coolest thing I've done. That, maybe Vegas.
Yeah.
Pan-Am.
Well, congratulations, man. Hell of a weekend.
So Blue, his final looked like a Greco match. I mean, it was super close to being a Greco match. Again, last seconds, finds a way to get the takedown, get the win.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. You know, Hoke Poe made the podium for Georgia.
Wrestled super tough.
At 182.
All right, Fat and Scrappy family, I'm here with Hoke Poe-Hogan, just off an All-American performance. Hoke, take a second and talk about what was the prep like and what was the training going into this event?
Going into the tournament, leading up to it, I knew I had to get my conditioning right to, you know, get the chance to All-American. You know, kind of got that feel at Elite 8, wrestling the good guys, and I knew as soon as I got my conditioning up, I was going to be able to take those guys out. You know, I was sticking a lot to the basics. I have a lot of times I have an issue with like hitting the flashy stuff, so being patient and sticking to the basics, that's what got the job done for me.
And now, obviously not the result you wanted. I mean, obviously you're a guy that we all know is an uber competitor and wanted to be at the top of the podium. But being an All-American here once again, it's got to feel good and do it in freestyle too.
Yeah. This is my first time in freestyle. You know, I don't train Greco, so this means a lot to me. Never All-American in cadets, and so this is a big deal to me. I wanted to win it. I'm sure I'll come back next year. Plan on winning it next year.
Yes, sir. Congrats.
And really, shout out to everybody. So we will drop a bunch of things after this, after our conversation, and we'll hopefully be back for Greco. Anything else?
One thing, Southeastern Dominance at heavyweight 16U. Michael Mocco wins at 220. Jacob Levy wins at heavyweight. Quick shout out to Jacob Levy, too. He wrestled like a dog.
I'm sure we forgot somebody, and I apologize.
We absolutely, and someone's gonna run up on us and beat us, bud. Swann and Cordero wrestled in the placements at 94.
All right, Fat and Scrappy family here at Fargo, 94-pounder Gabe Swann just finished up in 7th. Gabe, take a second, just talk about what was the preparation like for the weekend. You are a big 94-pounder, so to kind of walk us through all that to come into the weekend.
You know, we put in a lot of work. I've traveled. I went to Pennsylvania. I stayed there for a week. I went to Iowa. I stayed there for about a week and a half. I mean, I sacrificed my whole summer for this. I haven't done anything but wrestle all summer. I haven't hung out with my friends. I just put in work, and I'm glad it came out here and paid off, but I'm hungry, and I want more.
I was going to say, so finishing up in 7th, not a bad result by any means, but obviously not what you maybe would have liked to finish the weekend. But now that the bracket is over, take a second to talk about how does it feel to finish up as an All-American? Maybe not as high up the podium that you would have liked, but still an All-American nonetheless is still a hell of an accomplishment.
No, yeah, it feels good for sure. Last year I came in here, I planned to AA, win it, and I came up short. The kid I wrestled for 7th, Jose Cordero, he's a great competitor. He put me out last year, and I just came back hungry. I was hurt last year. I had a torn labrum in my hip, and I don't feel like a lot of these kids got to wrestle with me at my full potential, and I'm glad I was able to come out here and put on a show.
Awesome, man. Congrats. Hey, Fat and Scrappy family, I'm here with Jose Cordero. Just finished up in 4th for Team Tennessee. Jose, take a second, talk about the preparation for the weekend and how did it feel to get to the Dome and get after it.
Definitely a lot of preparation went into it, you know. Had a lot of early mornings, getting into practice and stuff. Losing that weight, this was a big cut for me. I started out about like 108.
I was like, you look like a big 94-pounder. You don't like it's a true 94.
Yeah, it definitely was. Even this morning, I had to wake up really early, get a sauna and run in a lot. It was tough, but we made it, and it was all worth it.
Yeah, I was going to say, so obviously 4th place, a hell of a result. Wanted to go get the title. Obviously, you always want to win an event. But how does it feel now? You know, you can look back, the event's over. You now get to look forward to Greco. But you're Fargo All-American, man. That's still a really great accomplishment. How's that feel?
It feels definitely good. I got to see a lot of things that I've been like working on. It's been working in practice, so working in the matches. So it's glad to see that pay off. And I also see some things that I need to work on. So just get back in the room and work on that and get better.
Awesome, man. Congrats.
And they had a really good bout. I'm trying, like...
Hudson Chittum.
We're going to miss a couple people, ladies and gentlemen. When it happens, if you're here at Fargo, run up on us and punch Jason in the
Take care.
Boom.
All right.